Hi, lovelies. Welcome to Managing My Money with Rosa. Today, we are going to stuff $565 into some cash envelopes, some savings challenges, and a couple of sinking funds. If you're new here, my name is Rosa. My channel is all about my personal budgeting journey. It is about cash funds, sinking funds, savings challenges, how we stash our money, where we stash our money, why we stash our money. It is also a little bit about our investing journey. If any of that is of interest to you and you have not already, I'd really appreciate it if you would take a second, hit subscribe down below. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and spending a little bit more of your time with me. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And everyone, I would really love if you'd take a second and smash that thumbs up button. All right, so my honey gets an hourly check. His check changes every 2 weeks. It just depends. I put into the budget how much that I think it's going to be, and then I cross my fingers and hope that's what it really comes in at a minimum as. I love when it comes over, but some weeks we squeak right in, and some weeks we come in extremely low. This month, this paycheck was a low paycheck for us. So what happens when his check is less than what I think? I want to back up for a second and say sometimes his checks are less than what I think for a couple of reasons. One, because he gets sent home early because they don't need everybody on the clock, or they have too many people there, or he's creeping in on a certain number of hours and his manager tries to keep things under a certain number of hours for the entire store. And sometimes that affects my honey. Another reason that his check comes in a little less is because sometimes he gets things from the work store. So what do I mean by that? So he has to wear non-skid shoes. He has found a style that he can order through work that he loves. I can't tell you how many pairs of work shoes for him, and he's always eh, eh, eh. So instead of doing that and playing that fun game, he just gets his shoes through the company. And when they do that, it's just automatically deducted from his check. Well, that's great and it's very convenient. However, that does impact what his check is. And that's basically what happened this time. His check was about $100 less than what I was expecting. I try really hard to pre-plan our month out and where those things are going. So what happens when his check comes in less? So I thought I would take a look at what I call a typical spending plan. Now, some time back, I heard I'm doing one of those courses where you could, earn extra points and potentially a $100 gift card through work one year. And one of the things they talked about was instead of calling it a budget, call it a spending plan, because really that's how you're spending your money from your paycheck. I fell in love with that philosophy. So now all of our checks, when I budget them out, is called a spending plan, not our budget. So his typical spending plan, we take $320 for cash, $120 for fast food, $110 for gas, $330 for groceries. Our youngest gets an allowance of $10. We put an extra into savings for $50. We have our $10,000 savings challenge, which I usually put 70 in. Emergency gets 5, savings gets 20, Jacob's car gets 50. His school, he put $5 towards it, $5 towards his senior year, $25 towards Christmas, which is our 2025, Save 2025 and 2025 challenge, $5 towards the month ahead, and then I buy $25 of a particular stock with the intent of two reasons. One, we're going to, when it hits a certain price point, we're going to sell all of it. Makes killer money, but it's going to take a while for it to get there. But it also just so happens to pay us a dividend as well. So just a handful of different reasons why we buy that. And there are some things here that are non-negotiables for us. So a non-negotiable for us is this $50 that goes into the extra savings. The reason that is 50 here and the other 50 that's non-negotiable for us is the $50 that goes into for my son's car. And you're like, Rosa, that's kind of ridiculous. It is, but it's not. If you've been around a while, a couple years back, we had an RV. Part of the conditions of buying the RV was that it would come out of my honey's check. Well, that's $100, 2 paychecks a month, so that's $200, and that's basically what the RV payment was. It was like $190 something. So his check took care of it. These are non-negotiables just because that's that 100 that would have come out, and I'm trying really hard to, one, I have a savings challenge I have to do, trying to stay true to that savings challenge. We need to be able to get a new car for our youngest the end of August. And then I just tried to not touch that. So for me, those really are non-negotiables, things that I'm not willing to take out. Another non-negotiable for us is the $70 for our $10,000 savings challenge, just because some of this other stuff can go, and that's not one I'm willing to touch. I can't reach my goal as quickly as I want to if I really touch that. And his check was only $100 short, so I was okay and willing to give in on that a little bit. Another non-negotiable is the 25 for Christmas and the 25 for the stock. We committed to this regardless what his paycheck is. We will purchase this stock every time. And Christmas, again, the way I have it budgeted out, if we don't put this 25 in, we will miss the goal when we need to be able to have it all fully funded. So again, it is a non-negotiable. So then we come through and we eliminate, oh, and then our youngest gets an allowance. That should not be impacted by what my honey's check is that he's getting paid. So that shouldn't affect that at all. So then it comes down to what on here can be eliminated. Well, I hate to do it, but the $5 from the 1 month ahead, this is extra. I know that I put $15 of every one of my checks to the side. I don't for my honey. If we get this money, it was extra $5. Yay! We just get to move through that 1 month ahead challenge a little faster. So that's out. Although it breaks my heart to not put money into my son's school binder or for his senior year, sometimes it just happens that way and there's nothing we can do about it, but hopefully we'll be able to make up for it later. And then as I looked through, I really started to go, ugh. And my emergency savings challenge is my nickel challenge, guys. We went ahead and lost it. But the reality is we've only saved $10, $20. That's not basically the 100 that we were short. So then it comes down to what else can be edited and budgeted. $20 savings stayed the way it was supposed to. And then I begin to look up at these 4 big areas where we spend most of his paycheck. I went ahead and immediately dropped gas down to 100. I basically have been homebound for almost a month now. I have been having some back issues, which really is affecting my leg. So I'm not going anywhere often anyway. So gas money we can drop how much we put into gas. Fast food, we're just going to need to drop it because I need a little bit of money back. So we took 20 out of it and turned it into $100 for fast food. Guys, I have a philosophy that if I'm going to spend it, I need to set aside for it or I need to save for it if at all possible. Fast food is something that we do. Because of that, I budget for it every single paycheck. Usually we're a family of 3. Usually I do 120, but again, because we needed to cut some spaces here and there, it dropped down to 120 or it dropped down to 100. And then we got looking and my honey and I agreed we could pull 20 out of cash. So we dropped that down to 300. And then we still had a little bit left. We took the last 20 out of groceries and we are only stuffing $310 out of groceries. Groceries should be one that's non-negotiable. I should have pulled it out of something else, but I didn't. We will work on adding to groceries from my paycheck as needed and as possible. And when it's his paycheck and he gets paid extra, we put in some extra into groceries. So some of these I'm a little heartbroken that aren't getting anything, like my son's school binder or his senior year. I'm really sad that we're not doing anything for extra 1 month ahead, but the reality is these are things that we needed. We needed some of this more, or we are on a goal, a specific trajectory, and in order to meet that goal, we had to continue to fully fund it. So that's what happens when we don't make enough when his paycheck comes in a little less. I have a fancy spreadsheet that as I add things to, it auto calculates over to the edge. So I know as I delete a number, how much more I have to figure out what needs to come out. It's great. But it's what allows me to auto calculate and know where we are at. For those of you that are math nerds like me and you've already added all of this up, you'll notice that this column does not match what I said, which was 565. That's because the 300 has already been taken out and the 100 for fast food has already been taken out. So that's what's left for us, is the $565 for us to stuff. So let's get to it. All right, so we start with our cash envelopes, being gas. Gas, we're gonna put 100 in, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I typically take extra gas money, transition it from the gas envelope to my car maintenance. I will do that with some of it, but I am going to leave an extra 20 in here. I have had a handful of extra appointments this month, so even though I didn't, because we dropped it from 100 to, or from 110 to 100, I feel the need to leave 20 of what's in here so that I know I have gas covered for my car. We'll put that away in a minute. Groceries gets 310, 1, 2, 3, 10. There was a little bit left in here, not a whole lot, 15. All right, and then I had said our youngest gets an allowance, which is 10. So we need to make a trip to the bank for him soon. The rest of this has already been filled from my check. We are in the process of transitioning what goes into here from my honey's check to my check. And we've done a good job with most of it, but there is still a little bit of it that comes out of here. That extra savings I've already transferred over to our money market. You know what, since we are here, let's come find car maintenance real quick. It is the only sinking fund over here that will see any cash. And really, it's not seeing cash from my check. It is just a transfer of where that money was. So we will add 20, which will bring us up to 146. 5, 10, 12, 13, 14, 145, 146. All right. It's a way to grow car maintenance and not have to worry that I'm not always budgeting money for it. It is one of our high priority sinking funds, but again, if it can't get money out of my honey's check, it just doesn't, because there isn't the money left over for it. All right, so that wasn't there. Oh, let's go mark off. My child got his allowance. All right, we are going to grab his car. We are going to set $50. Oh, only $150. We are going to set $50 to the side for his car. We will do this on another day during savings challenge time. Let me come mark that off. J-Car is done. Then we have our $10,000 savings challenge, which I am going to add $70 to it. And there are some monies already hiding in here. So what, we now have 5, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21. We're going to wait until I get paid to do another savings challenge day where we fill this in. All right, so those are there and there. The $20 savings that I talked about earlier, that'll get transferred from my honey's, from the bank account over into our money market. And then I said we were going to do our Save 2025. Our Christmas challenge is Save 2025 and 2025, which is what we call our yearly challenge. And we're going to put $25 into it. Looks to me like it is overdue for a savings challenge day. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 105. He's ready to go for it. And then I know I said, so there's Christmas. And then the very last thing that I talked about was the $25 for our advanced auto parts stock. We will take care of that hopefully later today. We will see. Depends. I need to get that money transferred into our brokerage. And that's what happens when we don't have, when his check comes in a little less, things just don't get funded. When his check comes in a little more, lots of stuff gets, even if it's just $1, but we have to make choices and decisions on where that money is going when his check isn't what I thought it was going to be. If you have any questions or just want to say hey, I'd love if you drop it in chat, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.